sent you some emails. Take me out of spam and the junk folder and read them. I have edited on your resume and drafted a cast of characters to help because we had about 97. So if you've got your resume with you in hard copy today, put it out on your desk. We've got some guests here today. We've got Professor Keith Carruthers, of Business Management, Logistics and Supply Chain. Professor Jamie Connors here. And you have been so upgraded with Amy Berger from the library. We have Tina Calabretta and Trish Rafey as well. So we've got some folks that can help you with the resume. Several of you didn't post your draft resume, and I sent you a separate email. Be sure you upload it into the Dropbox folder of Georgia View. Then by 1/28/19, next week, okay, update your LinkedIn, create your LinkedIn account if you haven't already done that, and load up your, I'm gonna put air quotes, okay? Load up your final resume and cover letter. You have not been assigned a mock interview person yet, so load it up, but we'll know the name's wrong on the cover letter. The company name's wrong, right? But once you know that, Ms. Rafey's going to send those out to you at the end of February. You will do your mock interviews in March and April. Okay, so you'll have to just go back in and make that quick change to the resume and cover letter. Remember, when you do that mock interview, you're going to copy Ms. Rafey as well when you send that out to the person you're interviewing with. We've got a lot of folks. How many so far today? We sent the email out this morning. And, yeah, we've already had about 12 companies that can't wait to meet you. So I'm excited to send you out. Maybe they'll offer you a job while you're there, right? Fame and fortune will await. All right, volunteer choices. The Boys and Girls Club, it took them just a little while. We've got 94 of us, so it took them just a while to upload your content. And they've asked you to specify if you want to work with the Boys and Girls Club and which project. Some of them will require a background check, some do not. But they pay for a background check for you, so make sure if you do want to work with the Boys and Girls Club and you've specified for that, you follow through, since they will pay to do a background check on you before you work with kids. Okay? We had a couple of people that I didn't get a data sheet from. Martha Cervantes. Martha in the house. I'll email her. Taylor Fish. Hey, Taylor. You want to pay that to Taylor? Let's see, who else I'm missing? Where's Janet Gabriel? She's watching from afar. Okay, very good. All right. Ready for Ms. Connor?
Okay.
All right, Professor Connor's back with a couple of announcements.
Just a quick one. I don't know what started, but there's been like a stream of internships and jobs still coming in. And I know that now when you see my name, it goes in the spam folder too now. Or you have a special box that it goes to, but just today, a marketing internship with Chattanooga Regional Manufacturers Association. There was also, I think it was today or yesterday, I put out an email that had MIS scholarships possibilities. EPB earlier this month up in Chattanooga, they also are looking for a soon-to-be recent accounting graduate. We had logistics supply chain, a former graduate that was sent out mid-January. We also had, let's see, I sent out one that was for accounting or HR. So these are some of the options that you have sitting out there. We also have another business supply chain management, steam logistics was another one you should have gotten. So just keep your eye out. If you're looking for something, you know, I try to reach you as best I can. And, you know, if you end up getting a position, especially if it's an internship and you want to use it for credit or something, definitely get in touch with me about the internships. But also, if you just get the internship but you don't want to use it for credit, or you get the job, just shoot me an email so that I know that we're, you know, fulfilling what the employers are looking for. The other thing, it was a my bad type thing. The sheet I had you fill out if you wanted to volunteer for VITA, which is our tax-free, you know, our free tax preparation service. I lost the sheet somewhere between here and my car. So if there's anybody who wanted to sign up for that, I know I had a few people. If you want to, like, raise your hand and I'll kind of get to you to sign up. And that's really all I had, unless anyone has an internship type question.
It doesn't have to be an accounting major to do like a.
Two things. What if you
No.
already are in an internship and you still get credit?
Are you in one for credit right now?
No,
Have you done one already?
I'm doing one currently.
And you're using it for credit?
I'm asking if I can.
Can she? Is it too late now? Probably she's going to talk with you.
Yeah, just come and talk to me if you don't mind, or email me the explanation and I'll get back to you.
And if my job is currently looking for other interns?
Email us.
Always.
Email.
And I will get working on that.
Most all the jobs and internships we receive come from very satisfied alums who realize we do a really good job and want some Dalton State Roadrunners to come and work with them. So I hope when you all graduate, you'll reach back out to us when you have openings with your company as well. Once you move up the corporate ladder, you will let us fill in the entry-level jobs with some
Right.
business majors. Oh, another thing, sometimes when Professor Connor blasts out these internships, you guys will send your resume to her. It's not us you're applying with, it's the
Right.
person in the company. And usually we've blasted out all we know, so just be sure you roll down and read the email.
Yeah, and sometimes the employer will say, will you collect the resumes for me and then just send them all in one attachment? So sometimes that happens and I'll do that. But other than that, I'm not like say going through and deciding anything for them. Yes.
I did have one question, not related to the internships, but for resumes. If we've left a job and the employer since then has changed like the business name, how would we go about that?
Yeah, you can say, give the new name and then in parentheses, formerly blah.
Okay.
And then on the references too, if your reference is your manager at Mohawk, but now she's working in Engineered Floors, give her Engineered Floors contact information, but in parentheses, my former boss at Mohawk, former company name, okay?
All right.
I'll be happy to look at some of those, and Professor Carruthers and Connors and I'll be sort of roving around the room, but you have got such a treat today. You've got Amy Berger, one of our reference librarians in the Roberts Library here at Dalton State, and she is going to help you get the job, because the last thing they're going to ask in the mock interview and then the real interview for the big money is, what questions do you have? Now, what are some inappropriate questions to ask? Salary, vacation, how many vacation days will I get? I want to go on a cruise with my best friend, can I be off for 4 weeks? When will I get my next raise? Will I get an office with a window? All those are really bad questions, but guess what some really good questions are? Things about the company, its strategy, the competitors, the industry. And on that section of your resume where you've got activities, you put all the computer programs you know, today you're going to get to put down internet research and list these programs on the board, because after today, you're going to be a pro at those. So without further ado, smarten us up, Professor Berger.
All right, great. Thank you so much for letting me be here. I am so happy to be talking to you. A lot of the classes that I talk to are lower level students, and a lot of times research for basic purposes isn't as interesting as research for a more specific subject purpose. So what you guys are going to be looking at is, like Dr. Helms said, basically you need to find out information about the company, and you're also going to want to find out information about the industry that the company is part of. And that would include, of course, their competitors. So before I start talking about the library resources, which as she mentioned are written on this whiteboard here, I'm just going to write my email address, because if you guys have questions or run into any situations that you need help with while you're researching, you might want to reach out to me and I will help you with that. So my email is aberger1@daltonstate.edu. So I'm going to tell you lots of informative stuff today, but that's probably the most important thing to take away, is to reach out for help if you need it. So Roberts Library, I'm sure you have used our facility and possibly our website in the past. We are linked from the main Dalton State page, basically, and there's a few things that I would like you to know about. The first thing is Roberts Library does have a business research guide. So if you scroll down to library research guides, it's going to take you to a list of all of our guides. So you can go right here to business research. Now, we do have guides on different topics within the field of business and business research. So this is more general. You may have seen there's like a business communication guide. There's guides for different classes within the field. But this is kind of our main landing page. So a lot of the stuff that I talk about is going to be also accessible on here. So if you have questions or need to kind of get a refresher on any of this information, this is a good place to go for that. You'll notice that on the right-hand side of the screen, my boss actually, Melissa Weitzel, she is the business guru, business research guru. She is currently out, so I'm filling in. So I am kind of a aspiring guru, but I'm definitely well-versed in research, so I can definitely help you guys. So just know that that guide does exist and it's there for you. But the resources that I wrote down on the whiteboard over here are primarily business databases. So each of these databases has different features. And so what I'm going to do is basically go into Galileo and kind of walk you through the highlights of the different databases. I'm just linking to it from the Galileo link on the library's homepage. You may have used Galileo before for research. A lot of people like to use this large search box up here at the top. And like I was saying, that works really well for your lower level classes for COM 1110, English 1101, 1102, something like that. But unfortunately, that multi-search does not have all the features our individual databases have. So we do have databases in different subject areas. You can look at the subject listing, or you can use the alphabetical database listing to navigate to an individual database. So what I'm going to do is basically just click on this, and I will go into each database individually. So we're going to just go alphabetically, and I'm going to start with ABI Inform. I'm just clicking on the letter A, and then I'm going to select ABI Inform. So just FYI, if you are off campus and you're trying to use our databases, it will prompt you to log in with your My Dalton State credentials, okay? So that's everything before the @ symbol on your email, same password. If you try to go to Galileo through Google or something like that, you may be prompted for the Galileo password. So that does change each semester. Right now it's Tunnel. I will write that over here for you as well. So if you need it, that's what that is. If you forget or lose it, you can always contact me. And we do get a new one every semester, so if you go to research next semester and you're not sure what the password is, just let us know at the library and we'll tell you. But yeah, so once you're going to get to your database, ABI Inform, what I was doing is I was like, well, let's check out Mohawk, right? So I first typed in Mohawk, which is fine, but I noticed that it actually was giving me information. There's like other things that use the term Mohawk in them, like I think there's a town called Mohawk. So I went to Mohawk Industries website and I found out that they call themselves, like their formal name is Mohawk Industries. So I just went ahead and typed in Mohawk Industries and I put that in quotes to keep those words together. And then what we're going to do now is you can see we have 12,682 results. Some of this is news, which is fine, and it can be a really good place to go to find out about like current developments that an industry is, is going on in the industry. Unfortunately, like this is, 11 years old, right, 2008, so that may not be as relevant to your needs. You do have a date range filter over here on the left. And the way this database works, you kind of have to do it by decades, and then you can narrow it to a particular date range. So for me, I usually start with like the past 5 years. So this is just a search of the company name, okay? But something that I was looking for was, earlier I was like, well, let's see if I can find a SWOT analysis. So you guys are familiar with a SWOT analysis, right? Okay. So that can be a really good place to go to just get an idea of what's going on in the company that you're going to be interviewing at. So there actually were some SWOT analyses available on my search results page, but I just want to point out the date is here next to it, just in these parentheses, so you do want to look for the most current SWOT analysis. So for Mohawk Industries, I actually found that the most current one was from 2017, available in this database. So what you can do is go down here to the full text PDF. I'm looking at result number 4. And then this will pull up that SWOT analysis for you, and you can scroll through. You can read it, you can print it out and take it with you and sit on the couch and read it at night. You can save a copy of it to your flash drive. Another option that you have is you can email yourself a link back to this. So if you're like, yay, I found the SWOT analysis, but I don't have time to read it right now, I don't have my flash drive, and I don't want to spend my print money, you can put in your email address and name, add yourself a message if you want, and go ahead and send yourself a link back to it. That way you don't have to redo the whole search. So just know about that. All right. So ABI Inform is also a great place to go for scholarly articles about different topics, but since you guys are looking specifically for information about companies, I'm not going to delve into that at this point. So I know that we only have a limited amount of time, so I'm going to go quickly to the next few databases because I want to cover as much information as I can that will help you guys. So our next one is called Business Source Complete. And you'll notice that there's actually 2 results for that database. I used the alphabetical listing in Galileo again to get there. The business searching interface is my preferred interface. The standard interface doesn't have some of those additional features. So that's why I wrote business searching interface. So just know to select that one. So you have the option to search, of course, like you do in most databases. And then the additional tools that I was referring to are going to be over here on the right-hand side under this browse column menu, okay? So if you're looking for information about a specific company, an industry, market research, any type of information that's in a particular format, you would want to use these links here over here to the right, okay? So just depending on what you're looking for. And we can actually click on any of these if you want me to show you a search, like another, so we can try Mohawk Industries again. Okay? And you can see it pulled it right up. And here we have a whole bunch of information about it. We've got, search tools finding related companies. We have information about the company itself, industry. Let me open this industry one real quick. One thing to note that may come in handy as you are doing business research is if you can find the NAICS code. That is a federal code that classifies industries based on what their primary business is. And that can be really handy to have because if you find a search tool that lets you search by NAICS codes, you can just put that search number in, okay? So it looks like these guys are classified 2 different ways. If you're looking at the flooring, you would want to use this first NAICS code probably, okay? So that's something to be aware of. And again, like I said, it just has this basic information about the company. Some of it has more detailed information and some of it does not. It's really dependent on what company and how much information is in there. I also looked up Verizon. And that's a more unique name. There's not really any towns called Verizon yet. But because if you go on Verizon's website, it's Verizon Wireless, but that's owned by Verizon Communications. So just be aware that you may need to try different search terms. So, but yeah, same thing. It gives you like the revenue, it links you to their website. And honestly, I didn't list it on my list of things on the whiteboard, but a company website can be a really good place to go to get information about a company. So company websites are going to have, basic information about the company. You want to go to their corporate website. And what you want to do a lot of times, if you find a section called Investor Relations, quarterly reports, things like that, those can give you some good insight into what's going on in the company. Okay? All right. But yeah, so just going back Yeah, to the main page, industry profiles, you may want to get some information about the industry itself. So if let's see, I'm going to scroll down here. It looks like I can browse by industry. I can do a search, so if we wanted to do telecommunications, we have that option. I'm not seeing it, maybe if we did like wireless. So you may need to try some different options. So I'm definitely not seeing that. Let's try fluorine instead. All right, so I'm not really sure how things are listed in this database, but you know, it's definitely worth perusing. Okay. All right. So yeah, so options there on the right, and again, you can do the search, the basic search at the top. All right. So let's go into IBIS World. And I'm sorry that I'm going quickly. I just want to make sure I cover all this stuff for you. All right. If any of you guys have some questions while I'm talking, feel free to just raise your hand.
IBIS World is one of the databases we pay for, partially through the Wright School of Business. You're going to be using it in strategy as you research a company, but it is so powerful. It has SWOT analysis on companies, on industries. You will look so smart. If you don't go to any other, I would probably send them to IBIS World.
Okay, great. Yeah, make IBIS World your #1 destination.
It is so
According to Dr.
powerful.
Holmes.
It's not cheap, but it's good. It's economists and experts who write these reports.
Yeah, it's good stuff. You can see right here what I was saying earlier. You can browse reports by the NAICS code, okay? And I didn't memorize the one for Mohawk, I'm sorry, but you know, we can see here's some recently updated ones. Different options in terms of what you want to browse for, or of course you can always search by company. So if we wanted to do Verizon, wireless telecommunications is apparently what I should have been searching for. But it gives you information about the industry here, okay? And you can kind of scroll through. It has some similar industries. It has a section that tells you industry jargon, so you might want to just brush up on that. You do want to go into your interview prepared, right, to discuss things that are going on in that company and, you know, the types of topics that are of concern to them. So I did search by, let's see, keyword. Let's see, I think this is a full site search, and there's different features on here as well. But IBIS World is a great place to go to find that information. So let's move on to Plunkett, okay? And Plunkett, I'm going under the P section here, sorry about that. Plunkett Research Online, let me go ahead and have that. All right, I want to make sure you guys have the full names of these databases. So when you get to the Plunkett landing page, you're going to see that you have two options that you can click on. We have research and industry, and then we have research a company. So if you wanted to look up a company, you can do it using the search box. You can do it using the NAICS code here as well, okay? So if you wanted to see all the companies that are classified in the same industry, you have that option. You also can do a search for the company name. And let's go to the third, because it looks like they're listed alphabetically. Sorry, I was just doing the alphabet to make sure I had it right. All right, Verizon Communications Incorporated. Here we go. And what you can see here is they provide you a list of the industry ranks by total revenue over here on the right, and you can sort it based on, you know, different filters that you put on there, okay? You have your NAICS code listed again. You have information about the company, leadership. You have a narrative description of the company itself, and you can scroll down. You can see They have several years of financial information listed here for you as well. You can compare to industry averages, you can, build a table or compare companies. So you have the ability to manipulate this information if you need it to be in a particular, yes.
Do we have a login for that IBIS world?
Did you go from Galileo and you're not able to log in?
No.
Or-
Okay, so you don't need it. Okay. I
Are
didn't-
you, if you just go into, if you try to Google it, it's not gonna know you're a Dalton State person.
Okay.
Yeah,
I used to got the error, it didn't let me.
it didn't let you in. Okay. I think our Wi-Fi thinks people who use Wi-Fi are off campus, so you may have to put in the Galileo password
Oh, okay.
to ensure that it knows, and that would be tunnel, just to ensure that it knows you're a Dalton State person.
Thank you.
And then once you've gotten into that, you can go into any of these individual databases. But yeah, so lots of information available here. Okay. Okay, and we can go back. And again, like I said, you can also, from that landing page, research in industry. So we can use a keyword search, and we can do that telecommunications. All right. And it tells you all the different categories within there. So we have wireless. Go right here, and you can see there's a lot of different tools built in. Okay. All right. Okay, so we talked about these items. I want to make sure to also show you a few additional websites. I did mention using the company website to find information, and that can be a really good tool for you. Another thing, and I'm just opening a new tab here in my browser, so the websites you wouldn't need necessarily to go through Galileo for these, but Reuters, and I'm just Googling it, this first one right here, business and financial news. What you can do in here is search for a company, okay? Use the companies tab here, go ahead and click on the company, and it's going to give you a bunch of different pieces of information on the landing page, and then you'll also note that it has these tabs across the top, so those are definitely worth exploring. News, that can be a good place to go. Really, I mean, if you show that you are informed about the company and the industry, that really makes you a better interviewee, because you want to show that you're prepared and you care about the company and you're invested in what's going on, right? Not just in the company, but in the industry as well. So news can be a good place to get that up-to-date information. Key developments, that might be worth reviewing for sure. Okay, so a bunch of different things available on here. And then the other website that I wanted to pull up is MSN. Alrighty, so let's see here. Let's try. Okay, so that's actually just a web search, so that's not working as expected. You know what, let me look over my notes, you guys. Like I said, this is a little new to me, so I am trying to make sure I give you the information that you need.
You may want to search the company's website, but remember, most of the websites are customer facing. They're assuming you're a customer to buy something. So you have to go down to the very bottom to investor relations. And sometimes you can find some of this on the company website, but remember, they position the company in the best light possible. So you want to be aware of that, right? They've done a little spin on it. The Wall Street Journal database is another one available to you if you don't subscribe to the Wall Street Journal and get the online edition. Sometimes I use that if I need something quick about a company to find out what's going on in the news.
That first one, Wall Street Journal. So that would be available in Del Mayo as well. And I was actually looking because Melissa has a really good guide for management 4701 that shows the MSN money stuff.
Yeah, there it is. Is it under financials?
Maybe under financial.
So this is the website for the strategic management class. But one of, like Professor Berger here is showing you, one of the things they do is they look up the same financial data on companies, so you can talk to them about how they're doing financially.
All right, yeah, I'm so sorry. You know what? I did not write this part down, so now I'm like, ugh. What did she want us to know about MSN money? I'm not sure, but like lots of different tabs on this. Yeah, here we go. Search the MSN Money website for your company. Across the top of the screen, you will see a tab like this, and here we are. However, how do we search this website? Because that just searches the web. I'm not sure. I may need to explore this a little bit more and get back to you guys.
Yeah, we can, I'll blast an email out to them with more specifics on that. They're probably, though, for questions about the company, more interested in what they're going to find on that SWOT analysis from Ibis World, or just some current industry information. Unless there's a major trend, a major upward trend, a downward trend, you might want to ask them about.
Okay, yeah, and I mean, you know, trade publications are probably a good thing to do, to be aware of. And then another thing that I would personally do, this isn't something Melissa told me, but it's something that I think would be valuable, is to go to like Google News and then just type in, you know, the company. And what you can do is kind of see any current headlines, news stories. You can also save the search. You can follow a company by signing into your Google account, and then that will give you updates. So if a new story comes up on that topic, and then it shows you the related topics. So that can be a really good option as well. Do you have anything to add? Is there any areas you'd like me to address further? Or students can ask questions as well, of course.
What questions? Yes, sir. Wait a minute.
How do we find a shrinkage of a company, or is that public information?
By shrinkage, you mean loss, theft?
Yeah, lost theft or anything.
That's a great question, and I honestly don't know the answer, but I can find out.
Okay.
I'm guessing they don't publish that voluntarily.
Yeah, maybe not.
Because you're in logistics and you're trying to keep up with inventory and quality.
Yes.
Is this shrinkage from theft or shrinkage from obsolescence or damage?
Theft, maybe.
Professor Carruthers?
Well, and being new here, I'm not so sure about what we have for that database, but that's the type of thing I might look up in my PhD research. And because I'm doing my PhD research through a university, and I pay them an exorbitant amount of money for the right to do that, I have a passcode where I can log on and get access to research from universities all over the world. So I would do a search in those databases for that particular topic, and I would find them